Hello Internet! I'm the Disney Brain, and another great Civilized War has come and gone. Many of you debated each other, pitting the modern era of DCOMs up against the classic era, and after about 2 weeks, a winner has emerged. I also wanted to take some time to really recognize and appreciate a few of the people that put in especially great arguments. Last time I just threw a couple of names on the screen, but this time around, I wanted to go that extra step. But first, let's get to the reason that we're all here, the Civilized War winner. Early comments had one side firmly ahead, and it was starting to look like Nick v Disney all over again. But then, the later days brought in some strong arguments for the other side, and they started pulling in closer. And I kid you not, there was a time where the classic and the modern era was separated by literally half a point. But, in the end, one side eventually took the lead and pulled away late. That side being, drumroll please, the classic era, with a final tally of 65 to 56.5. A lot of you had some really solid arguments for both sides, and generally speaking, the commenters firmly on one side or the other almost completely canceled each other out point-wise. Simply put, those of you that did debate did an exemplary job, and reading all of those comments made me very happy. Next, I want to recognize the commenter that earned the most total points. The commenter battle was much more contested than last time, but just pulling away was Shelly Ray, and nailed it with the rhyme. I'll talk about why she won, but first, I wanted to talk about some great arguments made by the runners-up. Our first runner-up is Percy Edward Jackson for his defense of the modern era. Love the points made here about Lemonade Mouth and the swap, as well as his take on the subtlety of modern DCOMs and why that trait has produced many intelligent films worth diving deeper into, as we tend to do here, so great job Percy. Our next runner-up is TheBeastlyBoy, who also was in full support of the modern era. Now, this was a great argument on the basis of the grounded nature of the modern era, and how that mentality created characters that can really be related to, and I do think there's a lot to be said for the quieter way that modern DCOMs operate. Our next runner-up is luisalonsoecheverria, who argued for the classic era. The best part about this argument is how focused and precise it is. There were so many technical details in here, which of course I love, regarding how sets and locations were composed, how many movies were filmed, the mentality behind those movies, as well as lasting impact. And I've just got to read this quote out loud because it's just that good. He said, "Do what you love and what makes you happy. Surround yourself with people that inspire you, drive you, and support you. Stay true to who you are. When you do that, you lead by example and inspire others." That's what Luis got from the classic era, and a powerful argument it was. Next, we have PFootball79, who made categorical debates in defense of both eras. A lot of different and very good points were made here, but what stood out to me was the argument made about the characters. There were points mentioned about how the modern era is more character-centric, and that produced several great character pieces. Conversely, the classic era has more variety and focus on story. I really like not just the arguments themselves, but the way they were organized and how your points were constructed, so great job on that. Next, we have Boba Fetticcine, which is an awesome name by the way, who had a smart and creative breakdown of the defining features of both eras. The idea of the classics being a what-if era, while the modern eras are the more human era, was absolutely brilliant. You've just gotta read the whole thing, quite frankly. It's really good, and even has a score system at the end. And I can't help but think that if your argument was just maybe a paragraph longer, that you'd have won the whole thing. Next, we have Colin Barton, who may have put in more work than anyone getting his argument across. This man watched every single DCOM, scored all of them, and then, going one step further, adjusted his scale to account for the fact that there are more classic DCOMs. I'm still geeking out about that one. Just a really smart approach all the way around. The points he makes are very solid too, but a ton of credit has to go to the mentality and the effort put into making the best possible case. And not surprisingly, it was your debate that pushed one side over the top. And our last runner-up goes to Jay, who not only had the most likes, i.e. people agreeing, but also constructed one of the most incredible metaphors I've ever seen. Comparing DCOM eras to the four houses of Hogwarts was a stroke of genius. Not just because it was a creative angle to take, but also because the argument made in support of that metaphor holds up very well. It'll be the second comment you see on the actual Civilized War video, and it's definitely worth the read. It's not the longest comment in the world, but there's intelligence and passion within it, and that's what I love to see. It was a tough call among the top 4 point earners, but in the end, Shelly Ray won through an intelligently composed, uniquely realized, wonderfully lengthy, and beautifully heartfelt debate. I just knew this was going to be a special comment when Sister Act 2 and Weird Science were referenced to make a point about Let It Shine and how to build a better boy. There's really no best way to sum up why her debate was so incredible, except maybe to say that in addition to all the great traits I mentioned it having, the emotions were almost jumping off the screen. I could tell that you were having a blast writing this while still cultivating excellent points about what defines both eras, so thank you for that. This also means that you get to pick the next DCOM or film that I review, and since I want it to be a surprise for everyone else, you can just message me your pick and I'll try to make it happen within a week or so. And so ends another Civilized War. Thank you again to everyone who participated and shared their voice. I read all of it and appreciate it even more so. It was a pretty dense topic, but you all did incredible with it. And, while I have you all here, a couple of quick updates, or really one quick update. The videos may not be coming at an accelerated pace over this next month or so, because I'll be in job search mode again. I need to prioritize that so I can, eat. So, if I randomly disappear for 2 weeks in the summer, don't worry. I'm not dead, just otherwise occupied. Once things on that end are settled, I can go back to a more regular schedule, and I'll keep you posted on that as things develop. And as always, thanks for watching.